covering news where you live. This is 5 News at noon.
The National Weather Service has confirmed 5 tornadoes moved through our area on Monday. Teams from the NWS are still sorting out all the details, but here's what we know right now. First, there were 2 EF1 tornadoes that started in Lincoln, including one that moved into Prairie Grove. An EF2 tornado moved from Greenland to Elkins. A survey team also found EF1 damage near Stillwell, Oklahoma in Adair County, and another EF1 started near Snake Mountain, Oklahoma, ending near Cane Hill in Washington County. Thank you for joining us for your 5 News at noon, learning a lot more about that severe weather that we had on Monday. Luckily, lots of people cleaning up. It's been nice weather, but sounds like we might get some rain tonight.
Yeah, overnight thunderstorms expected mainly across northwest Arkansas, but we could see some thunderstorms later on tomorrow afternoon in the River Valley. But let's talk about those new ratings that we got from the National Weather Service. We got that data overnight early this morning. We got those ratings yesterday evening, and what we got this morning was the details of those ratings. So Greenland had an EF2 tornado as our largest tornado that we had, 125 miles per hour. When it comes to the winds, it was on the ground for around 14 miles. Lincoln, 2 tornadoes for you. 110 was the miles per hour when it comes to the winds. For the first one, it was on the ground for near 12 miles. That Stillwell tornado was on the ground for nearly 17 miles as it crossed from eastern Oklahoma over into western Arkansas. Second tornado there in Lincoln had winds over 100 miles per hour. Same for Snake Mountain, which is crossing over from eastern Oklahoma into western Arkansas as well. Now, we have already heard from the National Weather Service out of Tulsa that more teams are out there today. They are expected to make their way from eastern Oklahoma into western Arkansas once again, so we could have even more ratings by the end of the day today or over the next couple of days as well. Current temperatures out there right now, nothing but gorgeous weather out there today, already up into those mid to upper 70s across northwest Arkansas, upper 70s, low 80s already across the River Valley. Very nice out there for today for those who are still cleaning up after Monday's storms. Nothing but sunshine out there, blue skies as well. Now, we mentioned those thunderstorm chances overnight tonight. It's not going to be for everybody. I think for most of us, it's just going to be in parts of extreme northwest Arkansas gets clipped by a few of these thunderstorms. The main concern during the overnight hours into early on our Thursday morning would be the chances for some of those isolated hail cores. The reason for that, or what's pointing us towards believing that we could see some of that hail, is that upgraded risk that we got earlier on this morning. Now that level 2 out of 5 risk for severe weather that's painted there in yellow across parts of Benton, Carroll, northern Madison, and extreme northeastern parts of Washington County as well. The rest of northwest Arkansas, parts of the River Valley included in that level 1 marginal risk. So again, early tomorrow morning, we're talking about maybe 2-3 a.m. in the morning is when we can have some of those isolated thunderstorms with the potential of producing some of that hail. Again, tomorrow afternoon into the evening hours, we could see additional thunderstorms. That round would be mainly south of I-40 across the River Valley. We'll break down those details in a very active pattern going into Memorial Day weekend coming up in just a bit.
Thanks, Stephen. And lots of people have been dealing with power outages since those storms. Here's a look at power outages right now. Looks like just over 2,000 people are still without power in Washington County. And right now, fewer than 100 in Madison County, which is down significantly, thankfully. And the cleanup continues in Greenland, where crews are still clearing debris and surveying the damage there. Washington County is under a state of emergency after Monday night's storms. Washington County Judge Patrick Deacon says setting that declaration puts processes in place for anyone who needs state and federal assistance. Community members are also stepping in to help however they can. One Greenland resident says her former students came to her aid to help her clear debris.
I thought this was going to take days, and it just took hours. So for this community to come together like it did, I'm so blessed to be a part of it, and I will continue to be a part of it.
Sheepdog Impact Assistance says they will be on the ground today in Fayetteville and also in Greenland, helping with recovery efforts. And Greenland Schools is also offering resources to families impacted by the storms. On Facebook, the district posted that it's providing daily breakfast and lunch free for children. They're also planning to distribute protein food and provide other essential items like diapers and toiletries. Severe weather also tore through Siloam Springs, which took a hard hit from high winds, hail, and a reported tornado. Take a look at these photos sent in by David Riley. You can see just how intense that storm was. You can see the trees completely uprooted, tossed across yards, damaging homes and nearby power lines. And cleanup crews are still out working to clear that debris. Lincoln is another town where the National Weather Service confirms the tornado touched down. As we mentioned, it was EF1 strength. It tracked all the way over to Prairie Grove. Some of the heaviest damage we found was at DK Ranch. Thankfully, no one was hurt, but several structures were impacted. Ranch owners say neighbors and other community members have been coming by to help.
That's the biggest deal, and the friends and neighbors come out and help is unreal. There's no, what do you call it? They're just good people. That's what it is. That's what it's all about.
EF1 tornado damage was also found near Cane Hill and Stillwell. And a reminder for Laflur County residents, many of you are being asked to voluntarily boil water as the water treatment plant gets back to full service. Plant lost power around 9:30 Monday night during the severe weather outbreak. Crews were able to restore power yesterday afternoon, get water pumping again, but they say the pressure in the tanks is still low. Manager James Morrison says the boil order is precautionary.
When the pressure gets down to a certain point, then Oklahoma DEQ says I need to issue a voluntary boil order, just on the safe side.
Morrison says water conservation and the boil order are in place for the next couple of days. He says they'll be able to lift the boil order once 2 clean water tests come back. Well, now to Oklahoma. Staying in Oklahoma, where communities are also cleaning up severe weather damage. A sudden and powerful wind event caused significant destruction on Collinsville on Monday evening. One couple who has lived there for more than 20 years says this was the worst they've ever seen.
I've always felt very lucky, but this is the first time, and it picked up his garage and just threw it at us.
Meanwhile, in Fort Gibson, an old opera house that now houses an antique store is missing its roof. The building has been there for more than 100 years, and the owner says she does not have insurance and needs to get the roof covered before the next round of storms. Well, in continuing coverage, Fayetteville city leaders rejected a major student housing project despite the area's rapid growth and rising demands for beds near campus. The proposed 185-unit complex on Dixon Street would have added more than 600 beds for students and young professionals. The developer's appeal ultimately failed Tuesday with 4 votes against, 3 in favor, and 1 abstention, upholding the Planning Commission's rejection. Meanwhile, the University of Arkansas is moving forward with plans for a new residence hall, adding 700 beds by 2028. Arkansas's 3rd Congressional District will soon see a familiar face on the ballot. Steve Womack announced he's running for a 9th term in Congress. The Republican has represented the district since 2011, served as Rogers mayor for 12 years before that. The primary election is set for November 3rd, 2026. Well, the future of President Trump's so-called big, beautiful spending bill remains uncertain, even though he made a rare visit to Capitol Hill yesterday to try and push it through. In public, Trump says Republicans are more united than ever, but there are issues that have the president in a position he's not used to, possible opposition in his own party. Weijia Jiang is at the White House with more.
Trump met with House Republicans for over 1 hour.
That was love in that room. There was no shouting. I think it was a meeting of love.
But that love may be conditional.
I think anybody that didn't support it as a Republican, I would consider to be a fool.
The president said the legislation is very important for his legacy. Several campaign promises are wrapped up in it, like tax cuts for workers.
Listen to this one. No tax on tips, no tax on overtime.
The proposal also includes adding $350 billion to border security, deportation, and defense, plus spending cuts. Some holdouts are pushing for bigger state and local tax breaks, while conservatives want to trim entitlements programs. Sources who were inside the room tell CBS News Trump warned them, don't F around with Medicaid.
Here's what I want on Medicaid. We're not touching anything. All I want is one thing, 3 words. We don't want any waste, fraud, or abuse. Very simple.
House Speaker Johnson has said work requirements would be implemented. If that happens, the Congressional Budget Office estimates 7.3 million people could lose coverage by 2034. Johnson is confident his caucus will pass the bill.
We are right on track to deliver, and that's what you'll see this House do this week.
Also in the bill is $25 billion for President Trump's and Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth's new defense initiative, the Golden Dome, which would be a missile defense shield around the U.S. and apparently Canada. Trump says it would be completed by the end of his term at a price tag of $175 billion. Weijia Jiang, CBS News, the White House.
Well, 5 inmates remain on the loose after Friday's jailbreak in New Orleans. Authorities say a worker at the jail has confessed to helping the 10 men get out.
This was a coordinated effort aided by individuals inside our own agency who made the choice to break the law.
33-year-old Sterling Williams, a maintenance worker at the New Orleans Parish Jail, is now behind bars. He's accused of turning off the water to a cell where inmates then removed a toilet, sawed through steel bars, and broke out. According to an arrest affidavit, Williams says an inmate threatened to shank him if he didn't help. Meanwhile, authorities say they arrested the 5th alleged escapee. They say another was caught hiding at a vacant house. 2 others were nabbed after being spotted on Bourbon Street.